She slammed the fridge door with such force that magnets scattered across the tiles. Clattering like startled insects. "This life," Sarah declared, her voice brittle. Her expression wound tight with frustration. "This cage you call existence, it's choking me." I stood in the doorway, keys still clenched in my calloused hand, boots dusted with garage grit. I didn't say a word. I'd learned silence could sometimes hold things together longer than words ever could. Usually, that silence served its purpose. But not this time. "You don't feel anything, do you?" She snapped, stepping toward me like a storm zeroing in on its mark. "You just wake up, go to work, eat the same tired dinner, sit in this dead quiet, and call that a life." I didn't move, didn't flinch. "I regret every single moment I've wasted on you." There it was. The words didn't land like fists. They drifted down, strangely soft. She'd flung harsh words before, but these were something else final. Like the last page of a book, I noticed the mess in her hair, the mascara trailing like bruises under her eyes, the half-finished wine glass resting on the counter like a silent accomplice. Without a word, I slid my wedding ring off. It came free easily. Like it had long grown tired of my finger, I placed it on the table between us. "Then let this be the end," I said. For a moment, she didn't speak, her eyes fixed on the ring, like it was something far and unfamiliar and unwanted. Her mouth opened, but no words followed. I turned and walked past her. The kitchen smelled like her perfume and tension, and I walked right through it. She didn't follow. Outside, the cold hit my skin, the distant hum of my old truck's engine still ringing in my ears. That was the night I stopped trying. The night I finally loosened my grip on a rope I'd been holding alone for too long. I met Sarah at a barbecue in Mark's backyard, thrown to celebrate his new job. A humid summer night, thick with cheap beer and mosquitoes. She wore a red tank top and worn denim shorts, hair pulled back, drink in hand, and a laugh so big it turned heads. I remember thinking, she's chaos and I've never craved chaos like this. We ended up talking by the grill. She teased me for looking too serious, said I had the stance of someone trying to escape a potluck. I told her I was just trying not to offend anyone's potato salad. She laughed and brushed my arm like we were already old friends. She told me about her marketing job, her desire to leave town, her hatred for her apartment, but love for the city's pace. I listened. I didn't need to say much. She filled the space with ease. A week later, we were seeing each other. 2 months after that, she moved in. In the beginning, everything crackled. She danced barefoot in the kitchen, played records too loud, convinced me to repaint the living room. We fought over colors, then laughed while painting side by side. I didn't mind. Her energy lit up every corner of my quiet life, even if it sometimes burned too hot. But even then, the signs whispered through the cracks. Once, while looking around the house, she said, "It's cozy like a waiting room." I laughed. Waiting for what? She kissed me instead of answering. I should have known. She spoke about the future like it was hers alone. Her restless spark always hinted at something beyond me. Back then, I believed she was saving me from dullness. Later, I realized she never intended to stay. Things didn't fall apart in one dramatic explosion. They eroded slowly, word by word, week by week. First came the dinners. She stayed late at work team meetings, client drinks. Sometimes she texted, sometimes not. I'd keep her plate warm, just in case. Then came the silences, not the comforting kind shared between people who know each other. These silences were thick, stifling, like smoke filling a room. She'd come home, toss her bag down, walk past me with barely a glance. I'd ask about her day. She'd shrug, already halfway down the hall. One night, I asked, "You all right?" She stopped. "I'm just tired, Ethan. Don't turn this into a thing." So I didn't. I started staying late at the garage, wiping tools that were already spotless. The shop smelled of steel and oil and purpose. It asked nothing of me and gave me room to breathe. At home, the criticisms began. "You're addicted to routine," she said over cold takeout. "You live like a man fading into wallpaper." I kept eating, swallowing both food and frustration. "I just like to keep things steady." She scoffed. Steady or dead? I didn't argue. Arguing felt like drowning in quicksand. Slow. Inevitable. the barbs sharpened over time. This house feels like a budget motel. Your clothes look like failure from 10 years ago. Even your truck is boring. I nodded, not in agreement, but in surrender. Fighting meant nothing to someone already halfway out the door. One Sunday, she walked out of the bathroom as I tinkered with a broken drill at the table. She stared at me and said, "You really think this is enough? Tinkering with junk in a house that smells like grease and stale toast?" I didn't answer, because deep down, I did think it was enough, and I knew she never would. It was a Thursday night when the truth arrived fully dressed. She came home late, hair damp, heels in hand, wearing a scent I didn't recognize. Long meeting? I asked. She blinked, slow and unfazed. "What? You said you had a late meeting." She dropped her shoes by the door. It ran late, then walked away. I sat there, watching the TV, but seeing none of it, listening to her steps retreat down the hallway, followed by silence that said everything. 2 days later, Jake, an old friend of hers, showed up at the shop under the pretense of brake issues. He lingered, nervous, sweating despite the cool air. "You and Sarah still solid?" he asked, voice awkward. I paused. "Why?" He scratched his neck. "Just, she's been spending time with someone. Guy from her office, Liam." I didn't react. "Spending time?" He shrugged. "She talks a lot when she drinks." "Thanks," I said. I meant it. That night, I didn't confront her right away. I waited. The next morning, while she poured coffee, I asked, "Who's Liam?" She froze, her back still to me. "You're doing this now. Now's fine." She sighed, irritated. "It's nothing. You're sleeping with him." She turned slowly, arms crossed. "Does it matter?" "Yeah," I said. "It does." She shook her head. "You think this is about him, Ethan. You're not present. You don't feel. You pay bills, fix things, but you're just there." "I feel plenty," I told her. "I just don't wear it loud." She stepped closer. "That's the problem. You're not going anywhere. You made it easy to walk away." And right then, I knew. It was already over. I didn't sleep that night, not from grief, but from clarity. I lay on the couch counting, not the things I'd lost, but the pieces of myself I was done giving up. The next day, I called Mark, told him everything. He listened, as he always did. When I finished, he said, "You want to stay with me for a while?" "No." I replied. "I'm not leaving my house." Mark didn't argue, just said, "Then take it back." That one line changed everything. I started in the garage, scrubbed it down, cleared out years of dust and frustration. Then I turned the spare room into mine, hung my old banjo, pulled my boxed up memories back into the light. I didn't mention the lawyer or the papers hidden in my truck. No threats, no warnings. She still thought she had the power, still tossed jabs, spending a lot of time alone lately, avoiding me, Ethan. I didn't bite. I didn't need to. My silence wasn't fear anymore. It was choice. She noticed. One night, she studied me from across the room. "You're different." I looked up from my invoices. "No, I'm just done pretending." She had no reply. For once, I didn't care. The end came quietly. On a rainy Sunday, she walked into the kitchen, phone in hand, typing away. "I'm meeting Liam for drinks," she said, like she was discussing the weather. "You're not even hiding it anymore," I said. She shrugged. "Why bother? We're just roommates now. Let's stop pretending we're still together." I set my mug down. "Then stop living in my house." She scoffed. "You're going to kick me out? You can't even meet my eyes." I stood. "You think silence is strength, that fixing engines makes you a man. You're just weak. Ethan, you couldn't even hold on to me." "I'm not trying to anymore," I said, and pulled the folder from the drawer. "Divorce papers. Signed." I placed them beside my mug, took off my ring again. It came off just as easily. "Let this be the end." She didn't reply. I grabbed my coat and walked out. She didn't follow. The rain fell in steady sheets, but I felt dry, weightless. She moved out 3 days later. No shouting, no slammed doors. Just a quiet packing job and a friend's car idling out front. I didn't ask who. She didn't say. Goodbye. That night, I walked through the house. It felt different, like mine. I opened the windows, took down her framed quotes about love and dreams, and whatever else she'd used to dress the decay. I didn't drink, Didn't call anyone. I sat at the table, and for the first time in a long while, the silence didn't weigh me down. It felt honest. Mark came by to help move her boxes to the garage. When we were done, he looked at me. "You look lighter." I was. That night, I found an old receipt, some club we danced at early on. Her laughter had made her snort. I held it for a second, then tossed it without a second thought. No anger, no sadness, just release. A month passed. The days grew shorter, the air colder. The house stopped echoing with her presence. No more footsteps, no sharp exhales, no glances that cut. Just me, and it was enough. I fixed what I'd ignored, patched the fence, repainted the bedroom, replaced the porch light she insisted on keeping for its charm. Every fix was a quiet reclaiming. One Thursday, I stopped by the diner. Not hungry, just wanted to hear voices that didn't cut. That's when I saw Mara. She'd bartended at a place Sarah once dragged me to. I barely remembered her until she smiled, still drinking black coffee and staring out windows like they owe you something. I laughed. Maybe they do. She poured my coffee and sat during her break. We talked about nothing, weather, music, the town's scent of cedar and diesel. Then she said, "Heard about the divorce?" I didn't flinch. "Yeah, clean break. She wasn't easy on you, was she?" "No, but I ended it." Mara looked at me, not with pity, but something steadier. Maybe it was respect. "You seem steadier," she said. "Steadier's not bad." "No," she nodded. "Sometimes it's peace." We didn't exchange numbers. No promises. Just a smile and a nod. Driving home, I didn't feel dread. I felt grounded. That night, I stood by the window, porch light glowing. I thought about when Sarah first told me I'd never be enough. She was right. I wasn't enough for her. But for me, for the first time, I was. The ring was gone. The quiet stayed. And I'd never felt more whole.